I'm Rinalda Proko, original from Albania. So I'm doing a Ph.D. in cell molecular biology at University of Arkansas. So I am currently in Fayetteville in Arkansas. My goal is to identify some interacting proteins with these septins, and then to provide more knowledge about those molecular insights and mechanism to identify this interaction, and probably this will advance more the knowledge for other scientists to design novel tools to control this disease. A lot of reading. I'm reading a lot. Sometimes I take my papers to read at home, or I read at the bus, and also networking with other people. I'm part of some professional societies that help me to interact with other graduate students, but also with other professors that are working in the same field, such as Septins. For example, we have a great community with Septins. Some people are working in yeast, some people are working in Septins in mammals. So each of us bring their opinion and insight and how to advance better the knowledge. Well, also the support, the financial, that for now I have been supported because in US to do a PhD you need to work also as a research assistant or as a TA. Well, for me, I am on a research assistantship, so this is great for me because I can spend as much time as I want in the lab. Sometimes I say I'm going to camp in the lab. Yeah, because you see something and then you want to be there to investigate deeper. About funding, there are a limited funding for international students. Like regarding governmental funds, but this is sometimes facilitated by the PI, so PI can apply for these big grants, and then it can involve also the graduate students. But since I'm in the end of the PhD, so I'm aiming to finish my PhD in the proper time when the grant ends, so I will not be scared of lacking financial support. I consider our lab as a family. It's super nice. We support each other. We do social. Sometimes we had bad days, like when the experiments are not going as we expect. And as a graduate student, we have a box that we sometimes put like 1 cent or $1 for each mistake. But this is not to encourage us to make more mistakes. So we spend this money for the social. So it's just like using a failure of an experiment to have rest and to think more about how to proceed with other steps. So it's like we still are in the road to encourage each other. This is very important. And in the department is really great because sometimes we collaborate with other labs and people use the equipment, so everyone is very welcome. Also in my program, because I am part of interdisciplinary program that involves other departments, so I can email, for example, I need this reagent, and other student can reply, yes, you can come and borrow some in my lab. So I see a very interacting and willing to help each other, because science is very challenging, and then you need a great support from your community. So I grew up in a patriarchal family, living with grandparents, and my grandfather told me that, for example, medicine or being a surgeon is not for girls, or being in medicine is not for girls. So I got scared, to be honest. But there were also from my family, also from my dad and my grandfather, say you can do this. can be very challenging, but you can do. My grandfather was a doctor, so he was always trying to inject me the science, but was in the beginning was medicine, and then later came molecular biology. So he gave me a book about the cloning of dolly. I was little during that time. It was a big deal. And so we had like usually in the evening those big discussion, and I felt like how I can find the argument to face grandfather, or also my father that was like insisting you need to do something. We feel it as a personal responsibility to have a contribution in community, like not just you do to use education for a purpose. When you go in the morning, you see things that you don't expect. Sometimes you can be part of those aha moments, like you realize those things that you never thought before. I feel like when I am doing experiment or trying to find a solution, it's like a black hole attracting you all the time, and it looks like it's draining out of energy, but actually it makes you more fascinated about the research question, and you take that research question with yourself, and even when you talk to your friends, your family, you're just like, yeah, I've been thinking about that, but what about this? And then it just the ability to try to understand, and the combination of mysterious failure, also those aha moments. So it's like a combination of every element. Oh, a lot. Trust me, there are a lot that I cannot let go. Sometimes I need to close my laptop to not think about especially when it's a research question that I think that I am trying to understand. I'm so close, but physical work or workout helps me a little bit to distract, but I'm a person that if I detach, I'll take more time to get into the science. So that's why I like to take my research question and make them like kind of understandable also for other people. I take my research question. I would like to find the answers of those questions, because this was my purpose. I had many questions. I saw that some people couldn't respond it, and then I felt disappointed. But now I realize that we cannot discover everything. So I would like to address at least some of my questions that I still struggle, and this is going to be like by doing a postdoc, continuing some research, and probably working in industry. And yes, I love academia, maybe a combination of industry and academia, but for the moment a postdoc and industry. It's like sometimes we face with scientific communities, they don't want to share the data, or they don't want to share a certain aspect of their protocol. Because science works if it's reproducible. When you are in the lab and you're doing an experiment, if someone says something wrong in their paper, you will waste your time. Or, for example, if you are struggling trying to understand the details of the paper, and then you're trying to communicate, and sometimes scientists can say, well, read my paper, and you read it. That's why you are contacting. Or sometimes people, they just don't want to share. And I think the science progress only if we share. Of course, we're careful because there is a competition about publishing, but you need to share, you need to be open. and networking helps a lot. So these are some challenges. We need to support more science, like financially, but also the general public needs to understand, everyone needs to understand that science is not abstract. If I'm saying as a field, it's not abstract. It helps our society to advance. It helps to prevent diseases. Like we had the pandemic, we need to build that trust, and we build that trust by all collaborating. So it's not like we have the scientists, they live in the lab and they are so far away. And then we have the politician in the other side, and we have the general public. Now we need the interaction of these three actors, these three blocks. This is the only way that we can have more support, more discovery, so people can trust more, and we facilitate people's life together. It's not like it's separate. We are not in the time the scientists can live in a hermetic, closed door that you cannot enter. Sometimes social media helps for people to be close to the scientists. The scientists can talk, can help them to understand. That has both advantage and disadvantage, but it's important to communicate. What is the big picture? Why we are doing this? I fell in love with the Western blot for the, the scientist people. It's like identifying proteins. It's like a 2 days procedure, but I loved it. I fell in love. If you tell me even at 3 a.m. just do a Western blot, I would do it. It's the combination of waiting, and also when you see those bands, even when especially when you have results, that's the best. Even when you don't have, it's like a puzzle, so you're just like, I need to troubleshoot one element. Once you troubleshoot that, you go to the other. It's really dynamic, and it's so rewarding when you see your results. But yeah, I love Western blot. So I would say for the audience, for the student that are considering, or high school student that are considering science, if people will say that you cannot do it, that's not true. You need to believe in your dreams, in your goals. Just focus and work hard on your dreams, because that is important. You're going to face so many challenges. In every field, there are challenges, there are difficulties. There is nothing it's easy, but you need to be persistent. Doesn't matter if it looks smarter than you. Your work matters. Even if you have 1% talent, you need 99% of work. My scientific project is about studying cellular control of some proteins that are called septins, and those proteins are very important in causing pathogenesis in fungi such as Magnaporthe oryzae, which is a fungi that is responsible for causing rice blast disease, and then the loss caused by these fungi is enormous. It's like to feed 60 million people, because these fungi attack rice, and rice is a staple food for 500,000 of population of the world. Currently, I'm identifying genes that are responsible they can be potentially responsible for pathogenesis, because nothing in the cell is like, this is a pathway, this is another pathway, and there is no interaction. Well, actually in the cell there is as we call a spider web of networking, and then once you find an element, and a gene is interacting with other genes that are contributing in other pathway. When I saw the call, I was like, this is great, because this is the only way how we can communicate. Of course, there are papers that we can communicate the scientific findings, but that is is super important, but is restricted into a community of scientists and also on a specific audience. For example, I'm studying septins. Of course, all the people that are working on septins are going to read that, or in Magnaporthe and on rice and food security. But what about the other people? They don't have the access. They cannot read this scientific paper, and they have different backgrounds. They want to know why we are doing this, what is important. It's food security. It's just helping to understand. Also for scientists, graduate students, postdocs, PIs that work in the scientific world, that if you don't publish, you don't publish on perish, you don't survive. I was shocked when I started my research journey. Was like, was someone that told me, if you don't publish, you don't exist. That shocked me. Well, that is true, but we need to make it clear that there are people, there are human beings, they have emotions, they put their efforts, their sacrifices, family, relatives. Some people travel, like in my case, I needed to put my hopes in a luggage. I had only one luggage to come in a different continent. But also people that go from US and Europe too. So they do these sacrifices for advancement of science, and we know that it's not for money, because we know this is because of passion. This is because to help to advance the knowledge, to help to create better communities.